All right, we are live. Welcome. I am your host, Mark from Marcky Sports. Man, I'm excited about today's episode. I've seen this on a couple different videos, so I'm not going to take credit that I made up this game, obviously, but it's a lot of fun. Some people call it the Wheel of Mock Draft. Some people call it the Wheel of Fortune Mock Draft style. I'm just going to call it the 2025 NFL Mock Draft Wheel of Fortune style. I couldn't think of nothing cooler. But I'm super excited for today's episode, man. So this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to break it down. And before we get into all the details and we get into all the chaos here, do me a favor, guys. Sub to the channel, like the video, and join me along in the chat here, man. Because this is going to be fun. I'm going to try to keep up with the chats. I'm going to need some of you guys' help because I made a really crazy mock draft wheel. Like, it's all a bunch of stuff that I kind of thought of. I had some dudes from the Discord. By the way, join the Discord. Links below. Help me out. And yeah, man. So let's get into it. But all right, so this is the draft, right? We know that one. And this is my wheel. All right. So I love this. So let's see how this ends up playing out, man. So I guess without further ado, guys, let's go. The Tennessee Titans are first on the clock. What do they have to do? Let's see what they start us out with. Oh, man. Who is it? All right, a Q, U, and a V first name. This is one that I made up because I was thinking, all right, what are the least common letters in somebody's first name? And they were Q, they were U, and they were V. And that being the case would mean that it ain't going to be Cam Ward, but it can definitely be Travis Hunter. You got to love that. So with the first pick in the 2025 NFL Wheel of Fortune draft, it's going to have to be Travis Hunter, the cornerback out of Colorado, baby. None other. He's the best player in this draft, so it worked out great for them. But got to be a Q, got to be a U, and got to be a V. All right, pick number 2 is the Cleveland Browns. Let's go over to the wheel, and let's give it a little spinny bobski. What we got? Are we going to do that again? Oh. Hell yeah. All right. We got to draft the ugliest player. Now, I ain't going to lie, guys. I had to do a little bit of research because there's some really, really handsome fellas in this draft, man. There's some dudes that is good looking. And obviously, this is going to be very subjective, but I've come down to a few different guys. The ugliest dudes on my list so far, Colston Loveland. All right. You can pull up the picture of him if you need to. Mason Taylor, Carson Schwezinger, and Landon Jackson. Now, I know people are going to say it's fucked up, because Landon Jackson has alopecia. Listen, dude, I got some family members that got alopecia. It is what it is. Thankfully, he's not like sick. And is calling him ugly messed up? Probably. But you know what? Let's make this realistic, all right? Oh, actually, I ain't even going to lie to you either. Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan's on there. I'm going to choose Ted McMillan to go to the Browns at 2. He ain't good looking. He is not. And let's you know what? Just have fun with this, man. Let's pull up a photo of Tedero McMillan. I'll let you guys. I got to get a bad one though, Yeah, here you go. See? He kind of ugly, so we're going to take Ted McMillan to go over to the Cleveland Browns at pick number 2. All right, pick number 3, the New York Giants. What we got over here? Let's pop this off. All right, the Giants got to take somebody that plays in the trenches. I'm not going to consider Abdul Carter a trench player because obviously he's on the edge, but Mason Graham does play in the trenches. Mason Graham is he's obviously a player that makes a ton of sense. I think he's a beast. People are saying he might drop on draft night. He might, but I really highly doubt it, to be honest with you, in my opinion. I think Mason Graham is just that good, man. I don't care about the measurables. The dude's a beast. And based off of drafting somebody, within the Wheel of Fortune, we're going to go with Mason Graham in the trenches. And obviously, I want to make this realistic. I don't want to get like extremely unrealistic guys unless it's, an FCS player or something like whatever the wheel ends up determining for me. But let's go ahead and spin the wheel for the New England Patriots at pick number 4. Oh, what is that? Secondary. All right, they got to go with somebody in the secondary. All right, let's see here. So we got Jahdae Barron, we got Will Johnson. I like both of them. Those are the only guys that realistically I think can go right now. I think it's pick your poison. When you're trying to think of, you know, what the New England Patriots do need a lot. Do they need necessarily to go up with Christian Gonzalez? That would be somebody that would be good for him. Opposite, I actually kind of like the idea of Jahdae Barron, to be completely honest with you, because I feel like Jahdae Barron is a good inside-out corner, and I think Mike Vrabel would really like him. I think he's a good player, and it's not so crazy to think that he would go as high as 4. Obviously, I don't think he's going to go to New England, but he's that good of a player. He's my favorite cornerback in this draft. We're going to go with Jahdae Barron, the cornerback with Texas, to New England. We're going to flip back over here, man, and we are going to go and see what the wheel says for the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick number 5. Oh, man. I was hoping we would get this, but I was not hoping that we would get it this early. I got to choose somebody from the FCS. And the only guy that's even realistically worth thinking about is the boy Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. So it's going to be easy, but it's going to be a little bit annoying because it's obviously very unrealistic. But that's the fun part about this whole draft situation, man. So we're going to go with Gray Zabel, the tackle from North Dakota State. A couple of other FCS guys like Charles Grant from William and Mary is somebody that's, I think he could be a day 2 guy. He's most likely going to be a very early day 3. I love him for the Broncos actually as a developmental tackle. And then there's a few other late round guys. So Gray Zabel saves me, but it's really going to be a problem if we land on that again. That's why I was hoping we would not get it here at pick number 5. But all right, on to the Las Vegas Raiders at pick number 6. It would be, oops. Oh, what the heck happened? I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. My bad. I gotta fix this. There you go. All right, we're back. The Las Vegas Raiders. It has gone off the rails. Yeah, Jahdae Barron went at 4, man, because I had to choose a secondary for New England Patriots. So this is what makes it fun. Let's keep it going. Andy, shout out to you, bro. I appreciate it. And Gray Zabel, I had to pick an FCS guy, as you can see from the last one. So we had to do that. So let's have a ball with this one. The Oakland Raiders, pick number 6. What do they got to do? They got to go with somebody in the trenches too. All right. All right, they got to go with somebody in the trenches. So let's come over here. We'll see, what is it that we could do? We could obviously do any of these tackles. Now, I don't really think that they need tackles at all. I think they're pretty set there on their offensive line. The offensive line overall is actually pretty good. So the only thing that realistically makes sense, and I think he'd be a really good player, even though obviously 6 is way too early, would be Kenneth Grant. Or maybe like Walter Nolan. I'd like to send Walter Nolan there because I don't really want him on the Broncos. So we could send him to the Oakland Raiders at 6. I mean, any of these is going to be crazy. So I guess it's all going to be just about what it is that we feel like at this point if we're going to go trenches. You think Membu? You think Membu, Andy? I don't know. We'll see. Derek Harmon could be fun. I don't know if I want him to go to the Raiders though, man. I'm going to have some bias on this, because I like Derek Harmon, but I don't like him to the Raiders. So what I'm going to do is I am going to send Walter Nolan to go to Las Vegas. And, I don't know, he's got some character concerns. You put that guy in Las Vegas. If you got character concerns, Vegas is not the place you want to go. I'll tell you that much. But, hey, man, let's keep rolling. Number 7, we are picking right now for the New York Jets. And we need to do the worst possible pick. Andy, I'm going to need your help with this one, I think, man. I think I'm going to need your help with this because I need it to be realistic. It's got to be a bad pick, but somebody that you can realistically see them, taking. You got to justify why. With this particular pick, man, it's crazy because Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty will all be good picks. I mean, Will Campbell will be a good pick, Tyler Warren. But it's where are the Jets' strengths and what's something that doesn't make any sense for them? You know what I mean? And this is really where it gets tough. There's I think both quarterbacks are still available because we haven't even taken them yet. So Any of those would make sense, and it wouldn't be a worst pick. So, man, I mean, I think for me, I would think to myself, they just re-signed. Oh man, I'm like having a brain fart now with the linebacker that I wanted really badly over here. Jamie Sherwood. And so they signed him. They still got CJ Mosley for a year. So Jihad Campbell could maybe not make that much sense. I mean, it would be a good player. Jackson Dart here would make sense. But then again, it's like, I mean, if Shedeur and Cam Ward were still on the board realistically, which they are. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would just say, you know what? As much as I like Jihad Campbell, and I think he's a really good player, the Jets taking him at 7 would be crazy because 7's a little bit high, especially for an off-ball linebacker. And the fact that they just, signed Jamie Sherwood to all that money and they still got CJ Mosley. I don't know. That's kind of boring, though. But I don't want this to go forever either. So I'm just going to go with Jihad Campbell. I should have thought this one through a little bit more because it's like, is it the worst pick just in general or based off of like what's available, right? Because, I mean, Andy here makes a really good point. He says, Omarion Hampton fit-wise, and he's not even the best running back on the board. But it's like, do we want to make it crazy? I don't know. I guess from a fit standpoint, he would be pretty bad. Because they already, you know what, man? Let's do it. Andy, you win, bro. We'll take the second running back on the board. We'll take Omarion Hampton there, going to pick number 7. And so that's what we did. We did Omarion Hampton, pick number 7, and let's go to the Carolina Panthers at pick 8. I got to keep remembering to switch over. Another one. Damn, this thing hit twice, dude. So far I've made, so this one's got to be a Q, a U, or a V in the first name. Because those are the least common names in case you're just tuning in of, I guess, first names, whatever. And it hit twice. So I made Reach, I made Mark's Choice, the 2 highest, and Trade, the 3 highest odds. And none of them have hit yet. QUV actually hit twice. It hit number 1 with Travis Hunter. That was kind of easy. It might be a little bit more difficult now too because how many of these guys got a Q or a U? Oh, I didn't even realize Abdul Carter had it. We could have taken him number 1. All right, well, we got to take Abdul Carter here. That'd be a hell of a pick for the Panthers. But Abdul Carter it is at number 8. That's what we were going to do. And then now we're going to be picking for the New Orleans Saints at pick 9. Let's spin it up. Oh, man. I get my own choice here. I get my choice for the Saints. If all of these guys were available and I could pick for the Saints, I mean, obviously Kamara's getting old, so Ashton Genty would make a lot of sense. I can just kind of do whatever it is that I want here. Do I really hate the Saints? Not really. I just think the Saints are extremely stupid when it comes to the cap and a lot of other things. But this is something that I think is actually going to happen on draft night, and I really do want to see this happen on draft night. And I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders to the Saints. I think ultimately the Saints are going to be the team that trades up for him, especially after Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston went to New York. And I just love that fit, man. He can sit a year if he needs to behind Derek Carr, eventually start. They could figure out what they want to do with Derek Carr still later with like a post June 1st or whatever. But I love Shedeur there, man. He seems to fit the city. I think he'll look really good again in black and gold. I love that fit. And I just think he'd kill it there. And I think him and Kellen Moore would be a really good fit, actually, given the kind of. So honestly, I just dig it in general. I'm a really big fan of that. So let's go pick number 10 to the Bears. Let's do this. Spinny, spinny. Oh, shit. All right, I got to take somebody that's less than 190 pounds for the Bears. Do I go off PFF or do I go off the combine? I might have to just go off PFF. How much Malachi Starks? He's a little heavier, right? He's 205. Luke the Bird, we know, is higher. The only guy that I can think of off the top that I think is a little bit less than 190 is Maxwell Hairston. And people are saying he's borderline one potentially. Matthew Golden, I know, was 195, so he's over 190, so we can't take him. Damn. None of these guys. Alec Ayamano we know is bigger. Jack Betch we know is bigger. How about Siobhan Ravel? He's 193. Oh, what is Maxwell Hairston? 186. He's basically the only dude that we could take up here unless we want to take like Tez Johnson or something. So Maxwell Hairston, Maxwell Hairston, you are a Chicago Bear with the 10th pick. You just made a lot of money for that. So hell yeah for Maxwell. All right. The San Francisco 49ers at pick number 11. Let's see where it lands them. Come on, man. Let's make this fun. I want to trade or something. Nope, ain't going to happen. My choice again here? All right. My choice for the San Francisco 49ers. My God, this is kind of easy for me. I would love to see what the hell Kyle Shanahan would do with Ashton Genty, bro. Does it get any doper of a pick? I mean, I get they got C-Mac. His career is almost done. Ashton Genty with Kyle Shanahan calling the run plays and Bobby Turner, the greatest running back coach of all time. Yep. That is pretty easy for me, man. All right, so we're going to go over to the sorry Dallas Cowboys at pick number 12. Let's see what the Dallas Cowboys get. I probably could have like split screen this or done this a little bit better, but whatever. We'll see. And yeah, man, no doubt. Genty in a Shanahan scheme, he might run over. He might run over for 2,000 yards in a like, you know, in maybe 10 games. Genty? Whew. I mean, they're churning out random dudes to get 2,000 yards. I mean, I know not random, but like to get 1,500 yard seasons back in the Mike Shanahan days. All right, so the Dallas Cowboys got to take a player that is 320 plus pounds. This one shouldn't be too difficult. All things considered, how much does Membu weigh? 314. Oh, that's rolled. James Pierce, Diamond as Rocket we know is not. Kenneth Grant, he's over the 320 mark. 339. Kenneth Grant would make a lot of sense. He'd actually be a really good player. He's just a beast. So I like Kenneth Grant going there. There's a couple of other options too, like Derek Harmon, I believe. Actually, I don't even know if Derek Harmon's. He should be over 320, I believe, but maybe not. Anyways, Kenneth Grant, 320 plus pounder, going over to the Dallas Cowboys at pick number 12. This is a lot harder than it looks, guys. I'll tell you that, just to be able to maneuver all the screens and try to think of all this craziness and realize who the hell is still on the board. So I like it. We still got Cam Ward on the board too, by the way. He hasn't gone yet. I picked Shador to go to the Saints because I love that fit. But all right, so the Dolphins at pick number 13. Let's go, baby. All right, we got a trade. This is where it's going to get fun. All right, so it waited all the way till pick number 13 for us to get a trade. So now we got to make a trade, and obviously we still got Cam Ward on the board, right? Back up, buddies. I'm sorry. We got Cam Ward on the board. We got Tyler Warren on the board. Somebody's going to make a big move up for Cam Ward, and do you know who that team is going to be? It is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 21. If this somehow, some way happened, it would be a pretty obvious pick. I wanted to trade up for the Broncos. I thought about it, but to be honest with you, I kind of want to see what the wheel does for us. So I might not actually trade up and get forced to take somebody. I might just see what the wheel tells me to do because it'd be fun. But the Pittsburgh Steelers jumping up here would make a ton of sense. Let's say they gave up these picks. They'll accept it. Cool. And we'll roll with it. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are now picking. And they are going to take Cam Ward, the quarterback from Miami, because they have the ability to. And that's it. There you go. We're going to roll with it. The fit's good. Cam Ward would be really, really good there. Pittsburgh would finally get a quarterback that they can genuinely build around as a franchise quarterback. So that could be a really good one. All right, the Indianapolis Colts, pick number 14. Let's see what the wheel does. Just created this one this morning. All right. So we got to take ourselves yeah, Andy, you're right there with me, brother. I just saw your comment. Sorry. We have a winner here, bust potential. So we got to take a player here for the Indianapolis Colts that I feel like's got the biggest bust potential. Kind of wish Walter Nolan was here. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think all these guys are really solid, man, that I'm looking at there. Mike Green is certainly one of them just because of the character concerns and the fact that he played at Marshall. Even though I think he's a really good player, he could be really high risk for a lot of guys. Will Johnson with the injury, maybe. I don't think Luther Burden really has a bust potential. I just think he might not necessarily be unbelievably productive, but I think he's going to be very solid and very impactful for a lot of teams. James Pierce is also somebody that's got a high, low floor, but a high ceiling, and there's going to be a lot of room for error there. This one might be tough, man. I think the guy that makes the most sense for him, given their needs and given the highest bust potential, is probably going to be Mike Green. Let's see what the comments say. Andy says James Pierce Jr. I trust Andy, man. He's one of the smarter, he's one of the smarter draft people that I know. And I did mention him. So you got it, bro. James Pierce Jr. it is. Any one of those edge guys, I think they have a lot of bust potential big time. So let's keep rolling, man. This is awesome. So now we're spinning the wheel now for pick number 15. This is the Atlanta Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons, oh God, they got to take another ugliest player. I think, please no. Okay, defense. Thank God. Thank you, God. I did not want to do that one. All right, they got to go defense. They're probably going to go defense. They need pass rush help like crazy. They need to be able to have somebody that gets after the quarterback. I know we talked about Mike Green as having a high bust potential, but I think he's arguably the best pure rusher in this draft class. Him and Donovan Ezeraku as well. Both those guys are studs. I don't know if I want to see Ezeraku go to the Falcons, though, man. I don't know if I want to do that to him just because I feel like he's such a nice dude. Watched a cool interview with him. I'm going to send Mike Green down to the Dirty Birds. I think it's a good pick. They need pass rush help. My God, big time. So we're going to roll with that. And now we got the Cardinals at pick number 16. Spin it for the winning. Let's go. No. Oh, shit. The Cardinals would take another FCS school guy. Gray Zabel is off. We already had this one hit. So Gray Zabel is off, and the only other guy that I can think of is the dude from William and Mary, Charles Grant. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Andy, somebody in the comments, whoever's out there, I'm gonna need one of y'all, man, to help me out. If there's anybody else I can't think of, but I'm pretty sure like Charles Grant might be the only other legitimate option here in terms of FCS schools. There is, I guess, Anthony Belton, too, so there's a couple tackles. Charles Grant could play inside maybe early. They need a guard. It's going to have to be him. Yeah, it is disgusting at 16, dude. It is, but that's the only other one that I can think of, too. So I put FCS school because I wanted it to be fun, and it is fun, but I didn't want it to hit this many times. It's already hit twice. So Charles Grant it is, man. Pick number 16. Could you imagine? Imagine he ends up being like the best tackle in this draft too, because you never know, but that would be crazy. That would be crazy. All right, on to the Bengals at pick number 17. What we got? What up, David? What's going on, my man? Look at that. Under 190 pounds again. Right when David comes in, we got to draft a player for the Cincinnati Bengals that is less than 190 pounds. This one hit before. We took Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback, at number 10 to Kentucky. And now we got to do it again for the Bengals. And the Bengals, they need any sorts of defensive help. And so what cornerbacks are less than 120? We know Will Johnson, I think, is heavier. 190 on the nose is Trey Amos. It does say less than 190. Let me check something out real quick. Let me look at what Trey Amos was at the combine. Maybe we'll have that be the Trey Amos was 195 at the combine. All right, so it's not going to be him. Darian Porter, 200 pounds. Yo, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are under. Shavon Ravel. Did he even weigh in at the combine? He's 193. He might have been lighter because he's dealing with that knee. So 194. My God, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be, man. I don't really think that there's any realistic corners, and I don't think there's any safeties, right? I mean, Xavier Watts is going to be a bigger dude. Malachi, we saw earlier, is 205. Nicky Manwari, we know he's a big dude. Shit, man, we might have to go into the wide receivers and see like if there's any of these smaller dudes. What did Restrepo weigh in at? He was at 2-something, 198. Yo, man, this is a lot harder than I thought. And you know what's funny? I had it earlier at 180 pounds, and I was like, no, that's too small. Let's make it 190. That's still too hard. I should have just said less than 200 pounds, but I mean, Tez Johnson? Kobe Bryant? Yeah, Kobe Bryant, he should be, yeah, he was 175. Them taking Tez would be the funniest thing ever, dude. Let's see. There's got to be somebody else, right? Jacob Parrish, maybe. 198. Kobe Bryant. What about Melo Dotson? He's at 190. Oh, my God. All right. Well, Kobe Bryant it is, man. I just feel like, obviously, this is super extreme, but it would make the most sense for them to get a corner if they had to go with somebody under 190. So, got to make the best out of a really shitty situation. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock at pick number 18. Man, Trenches has been killing it. Trenches has been the move for a minute now. All right, so we got to go with somebody in the trenches for the Seattle Seahawks. This is pretty easy. This is somebody that I think that they genuinely should just draft. That's Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama. That one was simple. So let's go back here. Now we are at pick number 19 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't do it to me. All right. I like that. We got to trade. We got to trade for the Bucs. Somebody has got to move up for someone here. All right. And obviously somebody's going to want to jump the Denver Broncos for Tyler Warren. And it's probably would be the Los Angeles Chargers. But like, why on earth would I want that to happen? So I'm going to have the Rams trade up here. Actually, we should make it a thing to where it can only be the teams that actually show interest. Should we do that? Let me know in the comments. Should we do that? Yeah. I mean, I think it only makes sense. Maybe the Vikings want to jump up. The Commanders want to jump up. Where are they at? They're all the way down there. All right, you know what? Here you go, Andy. I know you probably meant to sprint Membo up to the podium for the last one. So we're gonna have the Washington Commanders trade up. I just don't think it would make sense. So what we're gonna actually do? We're gonna do the Rams are going to trade up. We're just gonna force this trade. They're gonna trade up here. They're going to jump the Denver Broncos to take Tyler Warren at number 19. All right. The moment we have all been waiting for, at least that I've been waiting for, is the Denver Broncos on the wheel. This is going to be funny, man. This is going to be some bullshit like FCS player. No way! Damn, I kind of wanted to trade. I ain't going to lie to you. I ain't gonna lie. But all right, the Broncos got to take somebody that is 320 plus pounds, according to the NFL Wheel of Mock Draft. I mean, why the hell not take somebody that I've want the Broncos to take in general? And that is Derek Harmon, but he's 310, bro. What was he at the combine? Kenneth Grant, I think is off the Kenneth Grant is off the board. Derek Harmon at the combine was even 313, so he wasn't even there yet. Oh man, I mean, it's got to be defensive lineman or offensive lineman, right? Shit, how much does he weigh? Damn it! I ain't gonna lie, man. It would have definitely been Membu. What did he weigh in at the combine? Oh, we're gonna have to take somebody. Oh, he weighed 332 at the combine, bro. We're taking Membu. Yeah. You know what's crazy about this pick, though, is let's say realistically the Broncos took Armand Membu at 20. I'd say we got to trade Bolsey or we got to trade McGlinchey ASAP during the draft to be able to get some picks because that dude could play anywhere on the line of scrimmage. But I'm going to take Armand Membu because he measured, not only was he over 320, he was at 336. So, yes, he is heavier than 320. Armand Membu is going to my Denver Broncos. And as crazy as it sounds, it wouldn't be a sexy pick, and I know a lot of people would be freaking out, but you'd get a hell of a football player, man. A hell of a tackle. I think I don't know if day one he's better than both, but he's definitely got potential. I think his peak would be better than both of them by quite a bit. And we got a damn good offensive line already. So, Armand Membu, baby. Or maybe we could trade Ben Powers and he can play guard for a little bit. I don't know. There's a whole lot of things that we could do there. So, all right. We got the Miami Dolphins, man. Miami Dolphins at pick 21 have got to choose a linebacker or a running back. All right, this will be fun. The running backs, the usual. The top two guys are gone. Oh, they gone. This is going to be easy, man. Jihad Campbell or Jalen Walker. I'm sending him Jalen Walker because he's a top 10 player in this draft. So, and he's considered a linebacker and an edge. So, even though an edge is a linebacker, my strict rules were it's got to say LB when you're drafting him. So, Jalen Walker it is. That's a pretty simple one there. Sorry, I didn't switch it over there. So, Jalen Walker, the linebacker from Georgia, is going over to the Miami Dolphins after trading back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, on the clock right now, the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel, and hopefully it gives them like Al Davis's ghost or something. Shout out to David, by the way. That was you. I put that on there for you. Another dude that's got to be 320 plus pounds. This is probably something that it's probably like a requirement, honestly, from Jim Harbaugh. But man, I wish it was a little bit more fun than keep getting these same ones. But it ain't Will Campbell. Oh, who else is it gonna be, man? Ain't gonna be any of those guys. Let's go to defensive interiors. We know Derek Harmon ain't over that. Darius Alexander's 310. TJ Sanders 290. Tyleek Williams. Shit, that's a good player. A little early at 22, but that's a good player. We're going to take Tyleek Williams over to the Los Angeles Chargers. They need defensive line help. He's a damn good one from Ohio State, and he's over 320 pounds. So we've checked all the boxes. All right. We are spinning the wheel for the Green Bay Packers at pick number 23. All right. We got to go with somebody else with hardcore bust potential. Who's somebody else that got bust potential? I mean, technically, any of these guys got bust potential. Oh, but who is it that I think? All right, let's see what they need first and foremost. Their needs, according to this, are wide receivers. I don't see any of these top 3 guys. Like, obviously, like I said, I want it to be realistic, being big bust potentials. Like, I think if they drafted any of them, people would be like, oh yeah, those dudes are really sick. Edge rushers. Oh, here's my guy. Yeah, we're taking Mike Williams. That dude. Andy might not like me for this. I'm sorry. This is definitely the pick I'm making. Shamar Stewart. Anybody that gets Shamar Stewart, you got the player with the highest bust potential in the draft. I don't even know why I didn't think about him earlier. Shamar Stewart going over to the Packers. They need an edge, so if they hit with him, hell yeah. But he's got a pretty damn big chance of busting. So, all right. Now we are spinning pick number 24 for the Minnesota Vikings. Man, this is dope. This is dope. I like it. It's going to be my choice. That's what it looks like. All right. My choice for the Minnesota Vikings, given the board falling like this, I'm going to go with the player that I think is ultimately going to be on my mock draft. Well, maybe not. Because Malachi Starks is still available. I really love Nicky Manwari here, man, for them in a real draft. I just think in the Brian Flores system, he fits very, very well. I think Malachi Starks could fit in that system obviously really well too. He's just an absolute beast. So yeah, we'll take Malachi Starks here. But any one of those safeties is just something I always keep thinking about, man. You know, Eman Warrior with his ability to play in the box, but Malachi can just really he can do so much, and he'd be a great replacement for Cam Bynum, and they play so much 3 safety there with Brian Flores. They really, really do. So that'll be a pick that makes a lot of sense, and I like it. All right, we got the Houston Texans at pick number 25. Come on. There you go. All right. Best player available. This is the first time I think this one's hit. I mean, if you look at the rankings in general, I think the way that they have it is exactly true. Will Campbell. And they need it. It's a big need for the Texans. So, yeah, BPA, Will Campbell for sure. At pick number 25, that'd be a hell of a value pick. All right, now we'll pick number 26. We are with the Buccaneers, who were forced to trade back with the Rams. Let's see what happens. So, Bolt Casa, how you doing, man? Appreciate you joining. So, I'm doing a Wheel of Fortune mock draft. So, when I landed on the Chargers, they had to go with a player that was over 320 pounds. So, even though I agree with you, Will Johnson is not close to that. So that's kind of how that worked. But appreciate you, man. And it's really nice to see a Chargers fan in here, to be honest with you, because I don't meet many of you guys. So welcome, man. All right. So trenches again hit. So we got to go trenches for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right. I mean, I think O-line might make more sense than D-line, right? Because their D-line is pretty stacked. They could use edge rushers. They could use linebackers. But their D-line is pretty stacked. And so I'm probably going to go O-line, and I'm going to take Josh Simmons here. I don't really know too much about the Bucs O-line. I know it's pretty good. Let's look it up. It's pretty decent overall. They got Tristan Wirfs, who's an absolute stud. They got Luke Goedeke, who I don't know if they signed him this year. They recently signed him. Cody Mock, who's North Dakota State. He would have been a nice FCS player. Graham Barton, who's just been a stud. They took him in the first round. He's been so good. And then Ben Bredesen. I mean, maybe they can upgrade at left guard. I don't really know who Ben Bredesen is, but if you gotta go in the trenches here, you know what? Let's see who's a defensive interior. Shit, Derek Harmon would be a freaking terror there too, man. Could you imagine Kalijah Cansey, Vita Vea? They got Logan Hall, but they can upgrade there. Yeah, actually, you know what? I like that a lot. I like Derek Harmon a lot to the Bucs. That's something that would make some sense. So we're gonna do that. All right, pick number 27 to the Baltimore Ravens. Well, let's see what they're doing. Yeah. Hell yeah. I love me a trade, man. I love me a trade. All right, so the Ravens got to trade out. There's some good players. There's, Will Johnson is there, Jihad Campbell, Luther Burden, Emeka Ibuka. All these guys are there. Who's going to trade up with them? And who are they going to trade up for? I don't have any trade offers right now. Damn, this is a... Who do I want to see? I would like to see the Buffalo Bills trade up here with the Ravens. They could do something like that. I don't know. And I would like to see them take Will Johnson here. They could use a little bit of secondary help. Be a hell of a player. I love the Bills. I have a soft spot for them. Like, they'd probably be... I don't really consider anybody a second favorite team because I think you only have one favorite. But the Broncos are out of it. I'm always rooting for the Bills. Maybe because they're usually our only hope to take down the Chiefs in the AFC. So, all right. So we got the Bills going there. And now we got the Detroit Lions, another team who I really like. A lot of respect for their fan base, too. Picking at number 28. Also, two of my best friends are Lions fans and Bills fans, so there's that. Oh, please do it. Damn it! I really want a day 3 grade, bro. I was hoping it would hit at least once today. I got to take best player available for the Detroit Lions, considering what it is that they need. I mean, I love Emeka Ibuka. He's one of my favorite receivers. And it shows that as a need there, but how do him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean, I feel like that's my comp to Emeka. So they might clash. They might need a little bit more of a bigger outside guy. They need a guard. They need an edge. Donovan Ezeraku there would be really fun. And you can make the argument that he's the BPA. But maybe we should just take best player available based off of PFF to make it easy. And it would make sense. So we'll go Jihad Campbell here. That's what we'll do. Let's make up the rules as I go. I like it. All right, Washington Commanders at pick number 29. Let's give it a spin. Oh, yeah, T. Fishes, you nailed it. You nailed it, brother. Appreciate you joining, man. It's nice to see all y'all. Hey, man, I'd love to check it out. If the name is just Bolt Costa, I'll check out your video. I'll make sure to subscribe, man, for sure. But it is a lot of fun, and I can send you, like, any of the links. I mean, you can see it at the top of the thing, right? It says, like, wheelofnames.com. Super easy to do. It's fun. Honestly, setting it up probably took a little bit longer than this because I was just trying to think of a bunch of different ideas. But, yeah, man, please do. And I'd love to check the channel out and subscribe, no doubt about it. Even though you're a Bolts fan, brother, we got love for everybody here, man. So, absolutely. All right, so the worst fit is the winner. Oh, man. Who is the worst fit? Oh, you know what? I mean, in a way, you can say Luther Burden because Luther Burden is kind of Deebo Samuel 2.0 in a way. And so, would that just be a bad fit to have two Deebos? I think so. You could also take Jackson Dart here. That would be terrible. That would be an awful fit. But we want to make it a little realistic. Trying to think of like Dan Quinn defenses. Like, is there a guy that doesn't fit in the Dan Quinn defense that's here at all? Or, a running back. No, it's not going to be running back. I mean, like I said, Luther Burden. Because I think that, like I said, it's a great player. But it's like, where does he fit within that offense? Now that they got Deebo and Scorin McLaurin, it don't really make sense. So I think Luther Burden would be considered the worst possible fit here. And we are on to pick 30 with the Ravens, who had traded back. The Baltimore Ravens. Yes, finally. Hell yeah. All right. I can tell you, I don't think the Ravens would be the team to actually do this. But we got to draft somebody with a day 3 grade for the Ravens. And the only thing that would really make sense is like an interior offensive lineman with a day 3 grade, like Willie Lampkin, somebody who's just tiny, 5'11", right? 290. Yeah. Connor Colby, maybe. They need an edge and a DB. Let's see, is there any edge players that are day 3 guys? How do we even judge that? Like, do we just do it based off of what the ADP is, and it's got to be like what, in the hundreds or something? Elijah Roberts ain't gonna be a day 3 guy. Oluwafemi Oladejo. You know, I was looking into him a little bit, and then I saw some the NFL Stock Exchange guys were talking about him. He seems like a really interesting guy that could be day 3, and they could use the edge. Super long arms, if I remember. It was like, or just freakish at 6'3", 250. I think he had like 34 or something inch arms. And if I do remember, he was somebody that was an off-ball linebacker that transitioned over to an edge rusher, so he's kind of raw, but he's got a lot of upside. They talked about, he's been kind of popped up in a lot of different videos that I've watched about day 3 targets that would make a lot of sense. So there's that. There's a couple, like, I did some running backs that I liked, but it doesn't make sense for him here. I did some wide receivers. I did a day 3 video, but it had basically those guys. And then there was that corner that I took, Jamari. I made a video on him. It was Jamari, dude from Iowa. Let's see if he's even here. He's not even on this thing. All right. Yeah, man. You know what? I think I like the idea of Oladejo. Bolt Casa agrees with me. I think he's someone that, like, realistically is a day 3 pick that is just a lot of upside. And oddly enough, he would fit really well with Baltimore. I can see them actually taking him. Obviously not at 30, but at some point in the draft. So we're going to go with Oluwafemi. By the way, this draft is filled with a lot of dudes that are like, they have sick names, bro. This might be the best name draft of all time, in my opinion. All right. Boring. The Chiefs got to take a player in the secondary. And, I mean, we all hate the Chiefs. Bolts fan alike, man. We can, Bolt Casa, me and you can, we can team up on this one because I know we both hate the Chiefs. And I ain't giving him Nicky Manwari. Hell to the nah, I ain't doing that. Shit. Just give him Trey Amos. Because, like I said, I don't want to give him no day 3 guys, make it really boring. Xavier Watts. Yeah, I mean, Trey Owens or Savon Ravel. We'll go with, I don't know if it's Revel or Ravel. I'm pretty sure it's Ravel, but we're going to go with him because he's coming off the injury and I don't know, maybe he doesn't recover and he sucks for the Chiefs. Yeah, that's kind of my logic there. All right, we are wrapping this thing up. Pick number 32, man. This was actually a ball. I had a great time with this. This was dope. So pick number 32 for the Philadelphia Eagles. And we have to do somebody in the trenches. All right, they need a guard. Their defensive line is good. They probably would take one. They're good. I love Kelvin Banks. He can play on the interior if you need him to, and then if he ever needs to step out to, I don't know how long Lane Johnson's necessarily going to play. Kelvin Banks Jr. would actually be a hell of a pick there for him. So would Josh Simmons. But because of the injury with Josh Simmons, I'm going Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks here makes sense. Guys, we have completed the 2025 Wheel of Mock Draft. I wish it would give me does it give me grades? Oh, I can only do 3 teams with customized insights? Why? I signed in. I don't know. Let's see what they graded the there's a lot of bad picks. Anyways, let me know what y'all think about this mock draft and how crazy it would be. Like I said, I think the top 3 picks were, is what it was. We kind of had to go with what we needed to. And then give you guys a recap. I went with Tet McMillan at number 2 because it landed on the ugliest player in the draft. It's kind of fucked up, but that's what happened. And the guys that I wrote down, there's some handsome dudes in this draft, man. I ain't gonna lie. Some good looking fellas, but Colston Loveland, Tet McMillan, Mason Taylor, ugly. That's some ugly tight ends. Carson Schwezinger, and then, as messed up as it sounds, Landon Jackson. He's got alopecia. I get it, but hey, it's funny. But man, I appreciate it, man. I think a D grade is being generous, dude. Actually, not really. There are some good ones, like, you know, Shador Sanders going to the Saints. I love. Maxwell Harrison could be a really good player. 10's too early. Ashton Genty going to the Niners is like unbelievable. But that's because those ones I got a chance to choose. So, anyways, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in with me tonight. This was a ball. I didn't think it'd go 50 minutes, but it did. So, let me know what you guys want below. And Bo Casa, I'll make sure to follow the channel, man, and look forward to checking yours out. And until the next time, man, y'all take it easy. Spend time with those people you love the most, as you know, and peace out.